it's an incredible honor to meet you.
Thank you.
You know, you've been one of the very first figures that I have not only admired just for your activity as a musician and as a creator, but as an entrepreneur as well. You know, and I've always liked that about you because you haven't been active and productive and creative just in the music side of things, but you've been obviously involved with many different groups and genres in your coffee, in your books, and you've always been very open to, you know, give yourself and invest yourself into different endeavors, you know. Yeah. So I'll be interested to hear, like, can you describe this drive for creativity from your side? Is it something natural that always comes to you, or is it something that you've developed?
You know, it's funny. So I grew up on a farm, right? And I didn't realize, you know, until I became a professional musician, you know, especially in my 20s, how much farming and music was the same, right? Yeah. You know, if you don't plant the crop, you don't get a harvest, you starve, right? Yeah. And sometimes there's things beyond your control, the weather, you know, in our case, music genres, the taste of the public, you know, do they, whatever they gravitate toward. So there's things from within and there's things from without that kind of redirect your course. And I think when you're entrepreneurial, you know, look, I've never been a guy to go to the office and just, you know, kind of do that. And thank God there's people that do. I was never raised like that. So I was not around it. And a couple of times I did it. It's, you know, it was okay, but just, it wasn't for me. You know, I realized my life is out there, not sort of in here, you know? And so for me, you know, this way of life is a nice mix for both sides of my brain, you know, because there's some days where it's all about the business and there's other days it's all about the music, you know, and, you know, really when you're making music and you're making records, you're in the music business, but when you're out doing what we're doing, you're in the entertainment business and you also play music, but it's about entertaining because as soon as you set foot on a stage and you charge someone $1 or €1 or 1 shekel, you know, to come in through that door and see you perform, you're now in the entertainment business. So entertain them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And how would you, you know, because with all of those different avenues, and it seems that you always have this like ongoing motivation to continuously do new things and to develop yourself and stuff like that. And, you know, when it comes to your profile and if you achieved so much, and it seems that you're still having this very genuine drive to continue doing so. How do you maintain that? And have you had a moment where you've lost that and you had to like rejuvenate it?
You know, probably when I was the most challenged with that was back in the 90s. You know, we were on tour all the time, making an album, going on tour, making an album, going on tour, and playing the same, say, 15 songs night after night after night. To me, that was when I was in a rut. I remember writing a column for Bass Player magazine talking about that, like how do you get out of your rut, you know? And sometimes you have to just be jettisoned out of it. You know, something happens. In my case, Megadeth disbanded in 2002. Well, that was my flicked out. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, wow, okay, wasn't expecting this. You know, that was a moment where I went, oh, okay, well, guess what? Welcome to the rest of my life. And, you know, so that got me involved in other sides of the music business. You know, I ran artist relations for Peavey, their worldwide artist relations. And that was great because it really allowed me to use the oomph that I had from my Megadeth career to be helpful to the Peaveys with their product line and talking to other artists and people there, everybody from Lynyrd Skynyrd, you know, who are icons, to the next icons like Slipknot and Nickelback and Kid Rock and those guys, you know, as they were coming up the rank. And so, you know, then I went back to Megadeth, of course, in 2010. And one of the first, well, I played a couple months of touring, but, you know, we did the big four here, of course, right? You know, that was when I got to enjoy, you know, kind of what Pantera's enjoying right now, right? This big, you know, sort of reunion of sorts, bringing it back. The fans are happy. The band is happy. You know, the world has sort of become one again, you know, and that, I got to experience that going back to Megadeth. And during that time, I came back a very different person than I was when I had left it in 2002. I was very much a man on my own 2 feet. I had my own entrepreneurial spirit, my own things that I was doing, my own creative channels, and I wasn't going to close those off and turn that, that faucet off just because I was back in Megadeth. In fact, if anything, to me, it added to it, and I think it made me a much better member of the group, and so I look at some musicians who have been in one group the whole time and haven't had the opportunity to stretch out and do some things. And I'm glad that I'm on the path that I have, because I've gotten to do all of it. I've gotten to really do all of it and start companies, start businesses. The coffee thing, like you talked about, it's just passion to me because I don't drink anymore. So for me, coffee's kind of my thing, and it just sort of fell in my lap. And a lot of these things, someone suggested, like the coffee thing. Someone just said, "Hey, you should meet my friend. He's got a coffee company. You two'd get along." Next thing you know, we're starting my coffee company. And so I think a lot of it is just being open to the things coming. And it isn't so much a drive as it is being led. And that's a very different sort of motivation. When I wake up and I'm inspired and you go towards something versus I have to make this happen at all costs, because, that was the early days of Megadeth. Yeah. But even that, we knew we were led, like we knew it was going to happen. It was going to happen on its own timeline, but we just, every day we worked at it, and, I like the attitude of you just try to make yourself 1% better every day. And after 100 days, you're 100% better than you were,
nice.
Right?
Yeah, that makes such a great sense. Makes a great sense.